I text that again. Tell them boys to give me 150 M's. I'm coming. You know what I mean? When I start streaming out that, yeah, and that, stop it. Knock it off, cuz. Stop it. Tell them to send that bag, and I'm coming. And I'm, you know.
Gervonta Tank Davis initially stated he can't fight YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who is 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, until he reached the status of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez.
I think it's great for boxing. I think like boxing right now is like on top, you know what I'm saying, of the sport, bro. You know, one thing is boxing will never die, bro. Like everybody wants to see that kind of comp.
For the first time, Gervonta Davis talked about the fight with Jake Paul, and it was clear that he wasn't pleased. Davis made it clear that Jake couldn't compete with me, saying that the once YouTuber turned fighter is just an Instagram boxer. He then said that Jake was just big and didn't have the skills or knowledge to fight him properly, which made it clear that he didn't think Jake had a chance.
To me, like, I don't think that would even be like fair.
No, I think that he's you know how he got fat? He's a Instagram boxer.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy. Like, I wouldn't want to leave my girl around him and shit, but like, I don't know about when it comes to boxing, like,
it wouldn't be fun. He's a really good
I wouldn't want to leave.
No, he would. It's not fair.
You know, I'd probably be a little worried, to be honest. But
with Ryan,
when it comes to boxing,
Ryan looks like a Greek goddess.
Tank would fucking toss him down.
No, he does. He's a good-looking dude. You're right. I would be afraid to leave my girl around him.
And he is dope to watch in like the Instagram videos and shit too. Like he has fast hands and shit. He's obviously a good boxer, but
yeah.
What about when it comes to like this level? It wouldn't even be fair.
He can't compete with me. People in the gym will tell you like I've already got topped.
Gervonta Davis has never been afraid to say what he thinks about his opponents, and Jake Paul has often been at the center of those conversations. In earlier talks, Davis played down the idea of fighting Jake, saying that he would only think about it if Jake got as good as Mike Tyson, Manny Pacquiao, or Canelo Alvarez. Davis set those rules to show that boxing isn't about becoming famous quickly or getting a lot of followers on social media. It's about tradition, hard-earned respect, and wins that build up over years of fights. That being said, the story has changed now that the battle is real. Many people have pointed out the difference between how Davis felt before and how he feels now that he has agreed to the terms. Some people say that even though he originally put memory above all else, the promise of a big paycheck may have changed his mind. From their point of view, Davis has gone from ignoring Jake as unimportant to seizing the chance when money called. Boxing fans are divided on this change. Some wonder if Davis is truly pursuing his legacy-driven goals or just trying to make money from the show.
Gervonta Tank Davis initially stated he can't fight YouTube sensation turned professional boxer Jake Paul, who is 12 wins, 1 loss, no draws, 7 wins by way of knockout, until he reached the status of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez. And now yesterday, we have gotten an announcement that November 14th in Atlanta, Georgia, Gervonta Tank Davis, instead of fighting the highly anticipated rematch with WBA super featherweight, now lightweight star title contender, whom they fought March 1st to a controversial draw, and that being Lamont Rose Jr., who is 25 wins, 1 loss, 2 draws, 10 wins by way of knockout. Gervonta Tank Davis is instead going to fight Jake Paul. So now he views himself on the level of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, and Canelo Alvarez. He feels like he has achieved what he set out to achieve to reach that level. And/or he just seen the money flashing and decided that's the right direction to go in, because he clearly has not reached that level. He said that he had to do things in the sport of boxing still and fight his peers. He's only fought one guy.
Boxer Shakur Stevenson, who has never lost and is very good at what he does, also gives his opinion on the match. He knows that Jake Paul might be bigger in the ring than him, but he is sure that it won't matter against Gervonta Davis. Stevenson says that better skills, speed, and intelligence in the ring are more important than size in boxing fights. From his point of view, Davis has a lot of all of these traits, which gives him a clear edge. Stevenson strongly disagreed with the idea that Jake could beat Tank. He said that Jake, even though he trains hard and has won a few fights, is not as technically skilled as boxers who have done it their whole lives. Stevenson always thought that Davis was stronger than Jake because of his speed, accuracy, and ability to end a fight. This point of view is strong because Stevenson is known for being cerebral and precise in the ring.
His last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul. So I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me. So, nah.
You know, Shakur, Jake, when he fought Mike Tyson, he was 227 pounds. He was 199 and like 199 point something his last fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He hasn't been only boxing for a couple of years. He's 12-1. Tank Davis obviously been boxing his whole life. He's 30-0-1. He's knocked everybody out except for 3 opponents in his life. But at what point does size matter so much, though, where it can't be overcome, Shakur? And is it in this case here when you've got what is like a 70-pound difference between these two guys?
I mean, size will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just gonna go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and say he's got good power. Not even, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life. He's been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's going to be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
British heavyweight Dave Allen didn't like the idea of Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul. He said it was just another pointless showcase fight. Allen said that boxing should put real fights against shows rather than fights just for fun. Davis thinks that he is already well known in the sport. He shouldn't risk his future by fighting Jake Paul. Instead, he should think about retiring or fighting well-known boxers. Allen made it clear that these kinds of fights are different from what fighting is usually about. He criticized the trend of practice matches with famous people from social media, saying that they are more about money and fun than about making the sport look good. He thinks that the best way to respect Davis's career is to let him leave the ring on his own terms instead of making him fight Jake in a strange match.
He's training this fight, but fighting against real bears. This is true. People are going, no chance, no chance. Do you reckon this guy, could he be the toughest of your opponents so far, do you reckon?
I don't think he's the best that I've faced. I've faced a few Olympic medalists, a few world title challengers, but I think he's probably the most dangerous. Maybe not the best boxer, he might not be the most technical, but he hits really hard, he's really big and strong. So yeah, I think it's the most dangerous task I've faced, but he may be not the best fighter I've been in with.
Whereabouts is the fight, Dave? Where are you fighting him?
He's still at Sheffield Arena,
right?
Headlining in Sheffield, which is like my local arena. So yeah, it's a big night for me.
He won his last fight, didn't he, Dave, against Ricardo Brown, and 20 wins, 19 KOs he's got. So like you says, he is dangerous. How's the training gone for you ahead of this fight?
Yeah, it's been good. He's put a bit of fear in me, to be honest. I have had a bit of genuine fear. I've been stopped, but I've never been on the canvas ever as a pro or amateur. And I'd like to keep it that way, really. Yeah. I'm not on anyone's highlight reel. You see highlight reels of all the fighters I face. I'm not on any of them. And I'd like to keep it that way. So yeah, training has gone up a notch. For the Fisher rematch, I did weigh a little bit heavy. So for this one, if I cut any corners, there's a good chance I'll get beat in bad fashion. So it has really perked me up a little bit. I've been training a tiny bit harder. I've been eating a whole lot better and resting, and I think I'm looking at a career best performance.
Good man. Let's move on top of this big news of the day. Cruiserweight Jake Paul and WBA lightweight world champion Gervonta Davis will step in the ring together in an exhibition in Atlanta November 14. For context, the top weight for a cruiserweight sits at 90.7 kilos, while the heaviest a lightweight can be is 61.2. Dave, this is surely I know it's an exhibition, but this is a mismatch, surely. It's ridiculous.
I'm not a fan of exhibitions as it is. I think if we're doing exhibitions, if there have to be a thing, let it be a thing for retired fighters.
On Ariel Helwani's show, experts talk about the fight between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis. Their argument shows that even though the matchup makes news, it might not be as tough as a real competition. Some people said it was like Mike Tyson's recent practice fight, where the fight was more for fun than to prove anything. The experts pointed out the clear difference. Jake Paul is naturally a lot bigger than Davis, which is a clear physical drawback for Paul. Even so, they agree that Davis's speed, ring smarts, and skills would help him win even against a bigger opponent. But they stress that the difference in weight completely changes the nature of the fight. It's not so much about who is the best boxer as it is about how the show goes for the crowd. They told fans not to mistake this fight for a real match between equals, but to see it for what it is, a show meant to entertain, start conversations, and get a lot of attention. Finally, they don't see the fight as a sport, but as a show.
And by the way, like I feel like this was similar to the as I alluded to earlier, the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight had similar kind of question marks around it. Like, is this going to be an exhibition or is this going to be an official fight? And you kind of go through the motions and go through the process of this. So I imagine that Jake Paul, Nikisa Badarian, and MVP are going through the process of trying to get this to be an official fight. And if not, they can still do this as an exhibition, no problem. What weight class they meet at is going to be very fascinating, right? Like, is Jake Paul going to try to get down lower in weight to make it more fair?
Can they meet at a weight class, or would they just agree on what they're willing to fight at?
Even if they meet at a weight class, let's just do the math, right? Even if they met at, I don't know, 190? No, I don't think Jake Paul can get that
up to 190.
I don't think Jake Paul can get down to that.
Thus, why I think it'll be an exhibition.
No, Gervonta can get up to, okay, there's in MMA, for certain weight classes, you must be a minimum weight, right? You can't be within X percentage difference of your opponent. Yeah. There are some jurisdictions where I don't believe that is accurate, where that is true. I'm curious if Atlanta is one of them. We should try to look into that if we can. Maybe Jordan can look into that. If there's a weight minimum that you have to meet. Otherwise, if they agreed to a catch weight of, let's say, 100, what's the lowest Jake Paul's ever fought at?
I don't know. 185 for the Nate Diaz fight?
I have to think that's the smallest, right? Here, we're going to do...
Okay, let's say like he can get down to 180.
Unfortunately, Tapology doesn't have the weight on here.
Yeah, I mean, let's just say he can get down to one of those weights. Let's just say hypothetically 185. Is Gervonta Davis getting up to that?
He will not get up to that, but he can get within 20 pounds of it, maybe? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, do you think it's a strategic move for them to put it in Atlanta?
When asked about the fight, Carl Froch, who used to be the super middleweight king, didn't hold back. He called the match a joke straight out. Many people know Froch for being extremely honest, and he made his point clear in this case. These kinds of fights hurt the sport's reputation. For him, Davis should only fight real opponents in his weight class, and Jake Paul shouldn't be involved with boxing except for against tough opponents. Froch's honest opinion shows how many true fans feel when show fights are more important than real racing between world-class athletes. It's interesting.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Viva, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been played? Let me know what you think, but the AJ fight with Jake Paul's finished. Gervonta Davis, fake Paul, November. I don't know what's going on in the world of boxing. This is an absolute joke. What next for AJ? We'll get into this, and there's so many questions I want to get into in the next episode, but I hope you enjoyed this one. And yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick update because the news has just come in and I'm just trying to relax and play a bit of golf and I can't. I've got to get it off my chest. I'm going to add it to this video. Hope you enjoy it. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit like, share and subscribe to the best channel in the business, Frotch on Fighting, and we'll see you very soon.
Gabe Rosado, a veteran boxer, had a very different opinion. Many people have doubts about the matchup, but Rosado pointed out a surprising benefit: the undercard. He said that there would be women's fights on the whole undercard for Davis versus Paul, which would make it a historic event for women in boxing. He thinks that this alone makes the card unique because it brings women's boxing to the attention of people around the world through a big venue like Netflix. Rosado said that the main event might not be competitive, but it is important for female athletes because it gives them chances to compete. Boxing for women at a high level will be watched by millions of people, which could lead to more growth and interest in the sport. For him, this is the good thing about a fight that would have been bad otherwise. It shows that even unusual fights can have good outcomes.
Man, I think it's great for boxing. I think like boxing right now is like on top, you know what I'm saying, of the sport, bro. You know, one thing is boxing will never die, bro. Like everybody wants to see that kind of combat, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's great for the sport, you know, and the thing is that the Netflix, the production factor behind it is legit, you know what I'm saying? And the cards are actually good fights. The only one that was, I mean, a bit of a dud was was watching an old Mike Tyson back, man. But I love Mike, you know, but he wasn't his usual self. But other than that, man, they've been great events.
What do you think about Tank and Jake Paul?
You know, man, I don't know if that's actually real. You know what I'm saying? Could it be just publicity? Could it be just, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that's legit, man. You know,
I think Jake just posted it up too.
Yeah.
Not Tank yet. Not tanking, bro.
Yeah, that's, you know, that's part of the biz, man. It's just, look, man, one thing that I learned being around Jake, you know what I'm saying, is
post early.
Huh?
He be posting a little early.
No. It's just like he just gets people talking. You know what I'm saying? And he keeps his name, you know, on the top of the subject. You know what I'm saying? So, it's marketing, bro. It's marketing.
Adding to the excitement, promoter Eddie Hearn said that there might be a fight between Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson after the Jake Paul fight. Hearn thinks that this pattern might be able to make money and stay competitive. The fight with Jake would get a lot of press and money, while a fight between Davis and Stevenson would be a great show for fighting fans. Hearn said that Stevenson has the skills and focus to compete with Davis, and that a fight between the two would be very important for the lightweight division.
I will have to come up with something for Shakur Stevenson. If I don't, that may be the end. It's got to work for me as well as Shakur. Maybe I haven't got anything for him. Maybe he hasn't got anything for me. But right now, I know what we agreed with His Excellency, and that's what we'll do for now, and then see where we go.
I know you said you wanted to make that Tank fight, so hopefully we can see that in the future, Eddie.
Jake Paul, isn't he? So he's got. I don't know whether he'll fight. What's the rematch?
Lamont Roach.
I don't know if he'll still fight Lamont Roach. I know he's fighting Jake Paul in November, and then maybe Shakur after that.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks.
The public's response to the upcoming fight has been very mixed. Some fans are excited about how entertaining it will be, while others are very disgusted. Lamont Roach, a professional boxer, has been one of the harshest critics. He said that Gervonta Davis was trying to dodge him by turning down their rematch to fight Jake Paul instead. While non-traditional opponents like Paul get all the attention, Roach said, real rivals who have earned their spot in the rankings are being ignored. Roach and a lot of other boxers think that the sport should credit hard work, skill, and legacy instead of popularity and showmanship.
This news received a whole lot of backlash from the boxing community, with many saying that in a way, they felt somewhat betrayed and very, very disappointed. Lamont Roach reacted to this news by calling Gervonta Davis a duck, while Ryan Garcia said that the WWE influence has officially spilled over the boxing industry. Now, going through multiple boxing forums, Tank's fanbase, who normally are very active in regards to defending Gervonta Davis, have been noticeably silent. This glorified sparring session is expected to make a lot of buzz, and even though it may be for all the wrong reasons, well folks, just like Tyson versus Paul, this too is expected to make a lot of money for both contestants. Critics online have pointed out that Tank Davis, who's been very vocal about wanting to retire for quite some time now, could be doing just that with one last big payday in exchange for honor, pride, and of course, his legacy.
That's all for the video today. Watch out. Until the next time.